Bienvenidos a todos a un capítulo con los maestros de los Himalayas. El día de hoy vamos a seguir hablando sobre los nadis y vamos a hablar un poquito sobre los chakras, ¿ok? Kundalini Yoga. Entonces tenemos un día más aquí, tenemos la suerte de tener a Keshava allí. Thank you so much, Keshava, for being here. We are very happy to have you here one more day.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Entonces yo voy a estar traduciendo. Recuerden que esto es una serie, entonces pueden ver todos los videos anteriores porque vamos en orden desarrollando lo que es el Vedanta Yoga y el yoga tradicional. Entonces, sin más, vamos a comenzar. Okay, you can start when you want. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So we were discussing the NADIS in the last class. So, so this Nadi Suddhi, so Nadi Sodhana or Nadi Suddhi is very important practice, preliminary practice. So before we undertake any other practice, any other yoga practice, so so it's very important to purification of the nadis and also balancing the ida and pingala. So this is a very important. So these two polarities of our being. So ida and pingala we have to balance. So not only at the physical level, at the psychological level, at the spiritual level. So we have to balance this. So this has been talked about a lot in all the yogic texts, especially in Bhagavad Gita also. So that we will see now. So since these nadis are what prana vahinis. So we have seen in the last class they are prana vahinis. So they are the channels of the prana and also the mana. So the mind, the consciousness. So any obstruction, if there is any obstruction in this nadi or the improper flow, if there is any improper flow of the prana in them, so it disturbs the whole personality. It disturbs the whole personality and the health implications, the physical health and the psychological health, and you don't get what is called the steadiness of the mind. So mind, the steadiness of the mind will not be there. So the steadiness of the mind, what is called the unmani bhava, is very important in yoga, for practice, for meditation practice and samadhi practice. That is why, so we have to do what is called nadi shodhana, so nadi shuddhi. Yeah.
Okay. Entonces, vamos a hablar ahora de Nadi Sodhana y Nadi Shuddhi, que son prácticas súper importantes que se deben hacer de cualquier otra práctica yógica, porque se utiliza para purificar los nadis. Vamos a hablar de cómo purificar los nadis y cómo equilibrar ida y pingala. Esto de ida y pingala hablamos en el capítulo anterior, son los dos principales junto a Sushumna. Y es muy importante equilibrar estas dos polaridades a nivel físico, psicológico y espiritual también, ¿ok? En el Bhagavad Gita hablan específicamente de cómo balancear ida y pingala y la importancia tan profunda que tiene. Hablamos de que los nadis son canales donde el mana, que es la energía mental, ¿ok? La mente corre por los nadis también. Entonces, cuando hay algún tipo de bloqueo en estos nadis, cuando hay un flujo inapropiado en estos nadis de la energía, disturbia toda la personalidad. Toda la personalidad del individuo se ve afectada. También su salud física y mental se ve afectada. Y cuando hay bloqueos en estos nadis, no se puede conseguir fácilmente tranquilidad mental. Por eso es tan esencial equilibrar esos nadis y desbloquearlos.
So Nadi Shuddhi leads to what is called Bhava Shuddhi. So Nadi Shuddhi leads to Bhava Shuddhi. Bhava Shuddhi leads to Chitta Shuddhi. And the Chitta Shuddhi leads to Chitta Sthairiyam. So Chitta Sthairiyam. So the stages. So Nadi Shuddhi leads to Chitta Bhava Shuddhi. Bhava Shuddhi means emotional balance. So balancing the emotions, our emotional reactions. So balancing. Then that leads to purification of the mind and heart. Purification of the mind and heart. That is the so Chitta Shuddhi. Then that leads to Chitta Sthairiyam. So steadiness of the mind. Chitta Sthairiyam is also called Unmani Bhavaha in Hatha Yoga. In Hatha Yoga, Unmani Bhavaha means the steadiness of the mind. And that Unmani Bhava leads to Amani Bhava. So Unmani Bhava leads to Amani Bhava. So Amani Bhava means the no mind state. So no mind state. So that is the final goal in Samadhi. In the Samadhi there is no mind. We transcend the mind. So that is we transcend and see the reality. So that is the state of Amani Bhavaha. So now, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika 2.4 says, so Malakuleshu Nadishu Maruto Naima Madhyagaha Katam Syad Unmani Bhavaha Karisiddhi Katam Bhavet. That means Malakula. Mala means all the impurities, all the obstructions. There are obstructions and impurities in the nadis. So Maruto Naiva Madhyagaha. So the prana will not flow in the middle. Means in the Sushumna. Sushumna will not flow in the middle. Prana will not flow in the Sushumna because the blockages, the pranic blockages. Katam Syad Unmani Bhavaha. Then if the prana is not flowing in the Sushumna, how can you have that steadiness of the mind? So that is why Karisiddhim Katam Bhavet. Then how do you reach Samadhi? So that means the idea is first you have to purify the nadis. So, yeah.
Okay. Entonces, Nadi Shuddhi, que es el equilibrar los nadis, cuando uno equilibra los nadis, esto le lleva a Bhava Shuddhi, que es equilibrio emocional, luego a Chitta Shuddhi, en este orden, ¿no? Primero Bhava Shuddhi, que es equilibrio emocional, Chitta Shuddhi, que es equilibrio mental y del corazón, purificación del cuerpo y de la mente, y esto lleva a Chitta Sterium, que esto es una mente tranquila. ¿Okay? De ahí hay dos estados que se conocen en el yoga que se llaman Unmani Bhavaha, que es mente quieta, cuando la mente está focalizada totalmente, para llevar después a otro estado que se llama Amani Bhavaha, que es la no mente, ¿ok? Que es el Samadhi, es el estado que se busca en el yoga, que es la no mente, ¿ok? En el Hatha Yoga Pradipika, un libro muy importante en el yoga, habla de que si hay nadis, la energía no va a poder fluir por Sushumna, el canal central. Entonces, no vamos a poder tener una mente focalizada y no vamos a poder entrar en Samadhi. Por eso es tan importante purificar los nadis.
Yeah, so the Hatha Yoga Pradipika 242 defines steadiness of the mind. So what is that Unmani Bhavaha? The definition is given. Marute Madhya Sanchare Manastairiam Prajayate Yomana Sustiri Bhavaha Saivavasta Manonmani. Just a definition. So when the prana flows in the Sushumna, so then mind becomes steady. So that state of the mind is called, what is called Unmani Bhavaha. Just a definition, So obviously when the mind and the prana are connected, so once the prana is balanced, so obviously the mind is balanced. So that is why technically it is called Unmani Bhavaha. So so this is a definition. So steadiness of the mind comes when the prana flows in the Sushumna. So that is why all the texts of Hatha Yoga and also in the Bhagavad Gita is more like a psychological and spiritual level. The Nadi Shuddhi and balancing of the Ida and Pingala are advised to, we are asked to do this balancing of the Ida and Pingala before taking any other practices. So that's why it's important to understand and the balance.
Okay. Entonces, en el Hatha Yoga Pradipika describe una mente quieta, una mente focalizada, como el equilibrio en el prana. Cuando el prana es cuando el prana consigue entrar por Sushumna. Ahí es cuando se consigue una mente tranquila, una mente focalizada. Sin eso no vamos a poder entrar en un estado hiperprofundo de la mente. Entonces, es por eso que es muy importante hacer prácticas como Nadi Sodhana, que equilibran esos dos nadis, Ida y Pingala, y es importante hacerlo antes de hacer otras prácticas avanzadas de yoga, para equilibrar esos nadis antes de pasar a algo más profundo, para que...
So your voice is breaking. So hope it won't come in the recording, right? So your voice is breaking.
Okay, maybe the internet connection.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yes, many times in the recording is good, so hopefully it works.
Okay. Yeah. So this balancing of Ida and Pingala is called yoga also. Samatvam. Samatvam in Bhagavad Gita, the word sama and samatva comes many times. So many times you can see. So sama means balance, equanimous, equanimity. Or samatva. Samatva also the abstract noun. So the nature of being equanimous. So sama and samatva comes many times. So the harmonious life, the life of harmonious. So this is in the famous sloka 248. So 248 Bhagavad Gita says, so yogastha kurukarmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. There is a definition is given. The definition for yoga is given here. One of the definitions, of course, many definitions. One of them is samatvam yoga uchyate. Yoga is the balance, equanimity of the mind. Equanimity of the mind. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So here, so this is what is called the golden middle path. So golden middle path, not extremes. So when the balance means it's a sama, So you have to balance. You have to balance the moon energy and the sun energy. So then only there is a balanced life. So this balance is the life of yoga actually. In all stages the balancing. So we have to balance the Ida and Pingala. We have to balance the Tamas and the Rajas. When the Tamas and Rajas balances, only you have Sattva comes. So we have to balance the inner life and external life. So balancing the inner life and external life, and balancing our so the emotions, balancing of the emotions. So you can see this balance is always all through in our chakra experience. So there is a balance. So we have to balance in each and every chakra. So that is why the Ida and Pingala is crossing. So we have seen that last class, Ida and Pingala is crossing at each chakra. So that means indicating the balance. So that is why this balance is very, very important in a sadhana. So for the sadhana, so sadhana paksha, sadhana paksha means for the sadhaka seekers. So once you reach samadhi, then you transcend automatically. That's a different matter. But as a sadhakas, so the balancing is very, very important.
Okay. En el camino del yoga, como un buscador, como un sadhaka, el balance es muy importante, ¿ok? Varias definiciones que dan en el Bhagavad Gita relacionan el yoga con la ecuanimidad mental, que eso quiere decir el equilibrio en la mente, ¿ok? Le llaman el camino del medio dorado, ¿ok? Siempre se busca el medio en el yoga, siempre, ¿ok? Es el camino dorado del equilibrio. Entonces, en el yoga se busca un balance, en la vida en general, un balance de esos dos nadis también, de esas dos energías polares, del sol y la luna, ¿ok? De rajas y tamas, de nuestra vida interior y la vida exterior. Es un equilibrio, no es un extremo, no es solo vida interior, no es solo vida exterior, es siempre el equilibrio, de un equilibrio emocional. Entonces, en el yoga siempre está presente el equilibrio en todo, es lo que se busca. Por eso los nadis se van cruzando, como vimos el día pasado, en los chakras, buscando el equilibrio en esos puntos. Entonces, lo más importante para autorrealizarnos es conseguir ese equilibrio en todo en nuestra vida.
Yeah, so the Ida and Pingala balance is the prime concern in the healing also, in the healing, in the medicine also. In the medicine also, you see in the modern medicine, so we have even the symbol, what is the symbol of the modern medicine? They have, you see that they have Ida and Pingala crossing, knowingly or unknowingly, so they know that. So, so that means, so this balancing is so important. If you take a symbol, the logo of psychology, you see that there are three. So like the trident, the Trishula, So we have so Ida Pingala, then Sushumna. So you balance these two, then you have Sushumna. So this is so important in the, in all the systems you can see that the balance, So now, so this Ida and Pingala, so various dimensions, So these various dimensions of Ida and Pingala, because see, these nadis are so psycho-spiritual energy centers, I mean energy channels. So we always work, we always consider all the aspects of life. It's a holistic approach always. That is why this Ida and Pingala represent. So all the layers of the personality, all the layers of the personality, so all the dimensions of the personality. So we have physical level. So the physical level, Ida and Pingala represent. So the central nervous system. The physical level, they represent the central nervous system. So sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. Then when these two are balanced, so there is a balance in life, central nervous system. So Ida and Pingala. So that's the physical level. Then we have pranic level. The pranic level, or emotional level, and the mental level. So there's the Ida Pingala represent mind and pranamaya kosha. So mind, manomaya kosha and pranamaya kosha. So these two are also balancing is very important. These two balancing. So the manomaya, so prana and the manas. So they become two polarities at the higher stages, at the higher level. So at the pranic and emotional level. So Ida Pingala becomes a mind and prana. So Ida becomes the mind. So Pingala becomes prana. So Ida, mind and prana. So you can see that. So the Pingala is the prana because it's a dynamic energy. So like that. Then at the spiritual level, higher level, so Ida Pingala are Shiva and Shakti. The Shiva and Shakti, the balance.
Yes.
Shiva Shakti. So the consciousness and the energy. So Shiva Shakti. So balancing of the Shiva Shakti. So consciousness and energy, that is the higher level. Only consciousness. So we will not be do anything. Only we will be having a great ideas and all. So but so a practical level we will not be able to do anything. Then only Shiva in that case. So only Shakti means so we have full of energy, but there is no framework. There is no awareness what to do. So so wasting energy here and there, and the whole day is gone, whole life is gone. So that is why we have to balance the Shiva and Shakti at the spiritual level. So knowledge and action, So
yes.
being and doing. So knowing and doing. So they have to balance it. So this is very, very elaborately spoken in Ishavashopanishad, and this is there. Whole Bhagavad Gita is that only, how to balance your karmas and your actions and your knowledge, So knowledge and action. So this is a balance. So inner life, so internal life and external life, So this is the Karma Yoga also. Karma Yoga also balancing this internal life and external life. So only action, karma, then you are lost. So so you have to balance, So there is a time, so you have to stop and just be with yourself. Then being yourself, then again you have to be in this world, You have to interact with the world, and so then there is an action. There is a action also. So there is a withdrawal also, So this is so important. So balancing the knowledge and action. So balancing the meditation and action also. All the time you cannot sit and meditate. And all the time you will not be doing only karma, action. So you have to balance it,
Yes.
So this is what is so balancing of rajas and tamas. So balancing of the rajas and tamas, So then only you will get sattva. So this is what is balancing of pravrutti and nivrutti. Pravrutti marga and nivrutti marga. So these are all, see, you can see that it is balancing in all the levels. All the levels. When these two are balanced, so naturally Unmani Bhava comes.
Ok. Entonces, todo se trata de equilibrar Ida y Pingala, ¿ok? Los dos nadis principales. También incluso en la medicina occidental se utiliza este símbolo de las dos serpientes subiendo y cruzándose. Incluso en la psicología moderna hay tres, hay incluso una representación de estas energías, ¿no? De la Trinidad o de esta dualidad. Entonces, hay que, cuando nosotros equilibramos Ida y Pingala, lo debemos hacer en todas las dimensiones del ser, ¿ok? Desde la parte física, por ejemplo, en la parte física, Ida y Pingala representan el sistema nervioso central. El otro día vimos que el sistema nervioso simpático es Pingala, es de la acción. El sistema nervioso parasimpático es Ida, el de estar relajado. Hay que equilibrar estos dos sistemas nerviosos para estar en armonía, en equilibrio, ¿ok? En el cuerpo pránico, energético, donde se incluye mano maya kosha, la energía y la mente, Ida sería la mente y Pingala sería el prana, la energía. Esto es muy importante, la energía y la mente, el prana y la mente. En una manera superior, espiritualmente hablando, representan Shiva y Shakti, ¿ok? Shiva es la conciencia, Shakti es la energía. No sirve de nada la conciencia si no se lleva a la acción. Y hacer todo el rato sin conciencia no sirve de nada tampoco. Entonces, el equilibrio perfecto entre la conciencia, entre el conocimiento y la acción, incluso nuestra vida. Nosotros podemos tener mucho conocimiento, pero si no lo llevamos a la acción, y si hacemos acciones sin conocimiento, entonces tampoco funciona. Es un equilibrio perfecto entre ambos. Sobre este equilibrio, sobre todos estos equilibrios, se habla en el Isha Upanishad, también el Bhagavad Gita. Entonces, se trata de conseguir un equilibrio entre el interior y el exterior, entre karma yoga y meditación. Por ejemplo, no sirve de nada solo sentarse a meditar o solo hacer karma yoga. Hay que meditar y llevar esa meditación a la acción. Entonces, entre equilibrar rajas y tamas para florecer sattva, todo es el mismo equilibrio entre esas dos energías.
Yeah. So this balancing of the inner knowledge and outer experience, inner knowledge and outer experience, the balancing, So this is the process of, it's a continuous adjustment. You can see that all through we reach the Sahasrara chakra, So until we reach the Sahasrara chakra, all the way from Muladhara to Agnya chakra, it's always a continuous process. It goes on continuous process at various levels, various levels of expansion of consciousness. At all the levels, this balancing happens. It's a continuous process. So now, this Ida Pingala balance and the biorhythm. So this our biorhythm also very much connected with this Ida and Pingala balance. So this is explained in a great detail in Swara Yoga. So Swara Yoga is a branch of Hatha Yoga. So it talks about Ida and Pingala, how to balance them, how to balance this, all the practical, all the practice of balancing this. So it is directly related to what is called the Ultradian Rhythm. We have their various rhythms. So Ultradian Rhythm, Infradian Rhythm, and the Circadian Rhythm, like that. So mainly it is related to Ultradian Rhythm. So this rhythm of every 90 minutes, the rhythm changes. All the changes. So especially the mood changes, especially at the psychological level. So the periodic mood changing, the moods are changing periodically. Then you can see that the left and right, the changing of the prana flow in the left and right. So on the mental alertness also. So mood changes, mood swings, mood changes, and mental alertness. So then stomach contractions, etc. So stomach contractions, because of the digestive fire and all, so activation of the digestive fire. So like that, many other changes, and the physiological and also mental. So mental changes, So they are all so depending on this. So Ida and Pingala, the flow of Ida and Pingala, So it's so basically, so this rhythm will change, and that directly they affect the mind. But then when you go even more deeper, so when you are able to go completely balance, completely purify the nadis, then so you'll be able to maintain that the state of the balance, even so with disregarding the flow of prana in the left and right, you'll be able to maintain So because you directly, you are able to take the prana directly. So when you are directly able to take the prana, so you constantly able to maintain that state, the steadiness, unmani bhava, even though there may be changes in the Ida and Pingala flow. So this is what we have to understand. In the beginning, so there's a directly they are affecting the mind, But then when you go deep, you can see that. So this circadian rhythm, ultradian rhythm may change, but then you don't feel the effect on the mind. So as it was before, as in the beginning. So that is why it is so important to balance, purify the nadis and remove all the blockages. Yeah.
Okay. Es muy importante entender esta dualidad energética entre Ida y Pingala afecta a los diferentes biorritmos del cuerpo, ¿ok? Hay muchos biorritmos que se ven afectados por esta energía dual y hay uno específico que hace que la energía cambie, que la intensidad de flujo de prana cambie entre Ida y Pingala cada 90 minutos. ¿Ok? Cada 90 minutos el flujo de prana, cuando no está el cuerpo totalmente equilibrado, se cambia de Ida a Pingala. Esto, como cada nadi afecta, por ejemplo, a un tipo de sistema nervioso y a muchísimas cosas del cuerpo, este cambio energético en los nadis afecta a nivel mental. Tenemos cambios en nuestro humor, por ejemplo, en nuestra energía mental, en nuestra actividad física, incluso en las contracciones estomacales, en el fuego interno, todo eso es afectado por el cambio de los nadis. ¿Ok? Pero sobre todo lo más importante es que afecta a nivel mental. Una vez que uno consigue equilibrar los nadis, como está tomando prana directamente de la fuente, ya esos ritmos ya no afectan a nivel mental. Entonces se consigue el equilibrio mental. Esa es la parte más importante. Que ahora, cuando una persona no ha conseguido llegar a ese nivel energético, está siendo afectada su mente por el cambio de biorritmos, por el cambio energético en los nadis. Pero cuando pasa a un nivel más alto y consigue equilibrar esos nadis, esos cambios dejan de afectar su mente porque toma el prana directamente de la fuente.
So finally, Ida Pingala balance for the meditation practice. In the meditation practice, so this balancing of the Ida and Pingala, so it's very important. So what we call resolving all the duality. This is the spiritual practice. The highest practice in the yoga. So finally, resolving all the duality. So this is the dualities of inner life and external life. So duality of time and space. And the duality of going beyond the time. So timelessness, reaching the timelessness by balancing this. So this is explained in Hatha Yoga Pradipika again. So 417. So 417 says, Surya Chandra Masau Dattaha Kalam Ratrin Divatmakam Bhoktri Sushumna Kalasya Guhyametat Udahritam. So what is Samadhi? So Samadhi is timelessness, going beyond the time, duality of time. So past and the future, the present. So past, future, you balance. Then you are in the present. So the past is tamas. So future is the sattva, rajas. Sorry, so future is the rajas, yes. And the present is the sattva. Then you transcend the sattva, So sattva is a stepping stone. You transcend the sattva also. So then you reach what is called timelessness. That is the state of samadhi. So now that is said here is a metaphor, Surya Chandra Masau Dattaha Kalam Ratrin Divatmakam. So Surya Chandra, Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi. So they are like Ratri and a day. So day and night. They are like a day and night. So basically time. So duality. So, Bhoktri Sushumna Kalasya. Bhoktri Sushumna Kalasya. So, Sushumna is the eater of time. You know, it's a metaphor, you know. It's a eater of time. So, Guhyametad Udahritam. So, Guhyametad Udahritam. So, you have to so you have to balance this under so Sushumna. So, the prana has to flow Sushumna. So Sushumna eats time. That means you reach timelessness. So, that is said, one should control one should control the Ida and Pingala. So Surya and Chandra. It means one should balance the Surya and the Chandra nadis. So Ida, Sun and Moon, Surya Chandra. Because so these represent the day and night. So you know they are day and night. Surya is day, Chandra is night. So day and night of time. So the Sushumna is the eater of time. So Sushumna is the eater of time. So when Ida and Pingala are balanced, so in all the senses, you know, when Ida and Pingala are balanced in all the senses, in all the dimensions of the personality, then the time is dissolved. So time is dissolved. That means so timelessness, eternity. So you reach eternity. So eternity here, we have to understand eternity means not that hanging around for a long time. It's not like that. So timelessness is eternity. So you go beyond the time. Because the time is a mental construct. So time is purely a mental construct. So you transcend the mind means you are the timelessness. You know. So that's the idea.
Ok. Entonces la idea es disolver la dualidad, ¿ok? Ir más allá de la dualidad. De adentro, afuera, tiempo y espacio es uno de los principales más fuertes de disolver para convertirnos en una mente sin tiempo, atemporal, ¿ok? Samadhi, como se define en el Hatha Yoga Pratipika, Samadhi es el no tiempo, ¿ok? No hay pasado y no hay futuro. El pasado sería tamas, el futuro es rayas, el presente es sattva. Y pasando sattva, porque no debemos quedarnos ahí, nos vamos al no tiempo, al estado atemporal, que es el Samadhi, ¿ok? Entonces, como deshacer la dualidad del sol y la luna, de esa dualidad, de esa energía dual que nos mantiene en ese estado, ¿ok? Para que al equilibrar los nadis, la energía suba por Sushumna y entremos en la dimensión natural, en el tiempo en el que entramos en ese Samadhi, ¿ok? Entonces, en el yoga, todas las prácticas se hacen para el equilibrio de estos dos canales. Es súper importante, en muchísimos libros explican sobre la importancia de los canales para disolver el tiempo y hacernos seres eternos. Y seres eternos no quiere decir que vamos a vivir, quedarnos por aquí andando durante miles de años, sino que nuestra mente se vuelve atemporal y nos hacemos seres eternos mentalmente.
Yeah. So the 457 Hatha Yoga Pratipika 457 says, so bahya chinta na kartavya tatayvantara chintanam sarva chintam parityajya na kinchitapi chintayet. So it is describing the state of timelessness. So one should think neither of the external world nor internal world, leaving all the thoughts. So just be silent. You know, so just to be silent. So this is the practice and as well as the goal. It's a practice as well as the goal. You know, so this is what. So going beyond the time, balancing these two Ida Pingala and reaching the timelessness. So that's the highest state. That's the ultimate. So ultimate goal. So now, yeah, you translate this, then we'll go to the next one.
Yes, ok. Entonces, en el Hatha Yoga Pratipika hablan de esa dimensión atemporal como dejar de pensar en el pasado y en el futuro, dejar de pensar, de parar los pensamientos y quedarse en el puro silencio. Eso es el estado de no tiempo según el Hatha Yoga Pratipika, ¿ok? Y ese es el objetivo, ese es como la experiencia suprema de estar en el silencio, en el aquí y ahora, en el silencio del aquí y ahora. Y eso es lo que se conoce como no tiempo o atemporal.
Yeah, so to summarize, So balancing of Ida and Pingala means so moderation in all our activities. So moderation in all our activities is what is called a balancing of samatvam. Samatvam, that's a yoga. So moderation in all activities, in the food, in our work and play, in the mental and physical activities, inner world and external world, So this is said in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 17 says, it's very famous verse, Yuktahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So for him, for her, so yoga becomes very easy. So one who has got moderation. Yukta means a moderation. So yoga also comes from the same root. Yuktaha, yogaha, yogi, yogini, the same root. Yuj, the balance. So yuktahara, one who has got moderation in food. So neither overeating nor not eating at all. Then you cannot practice yoga. So you have moderation. So yukta ahara means the food. So moderation in the food. Vihara. So vihara means our activities. So work, our activities, vihara. So neither completely introvert nor completely extrovert. All the time you need people around. So then the time, all your energies are wasted. So you don't have a time for meditation practice. So not all the time with the world, nor completely withdrawn. So completely withdrawn also no. So there is a balance. Of course, you are as a yogi advised to withdraw and ekanta and solitary, solitude, etc. But so whenever is necessary, you have to go. Whenever is necessary, so you have to go interact with the world. Then you just don't involve. Don't completely get lost in that. So you come back and you should be able to withdraw and So this is the balance. Work and play. Yukta ahara viharasya. Yukta chestasya karmaso. Yukta chesta means all your interactions. Balanced interactions, and also the activities. So mental activities and physical activities. Yukta chestasya karmaso. So then the balance in the physical activities and mental activities. Then yukta swapnava bodhasya. Yukta swapna avabodha. Avabodha means waking state. Swapna means sleep. So moderation in the sleep and moderation in waking. So not too much sleep, not sleeping at all. So that is a moderation. So this is what you can see, that moderation in all. Yogi bhavati, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So for that person, so yoga becomes very easy. So dukkhaha. So yoga removes the misery. For that one, so follows the middle path, golden middle path. So yoga removes the misery to that person. So this you can see the summary of the whole.
Entonces, para resumir, todo se focaliza en la moderación. Esa es la palabra. Que en el Bhagavad Gita se define de una manera muy bonita y muy completa, y dice que el yoga se vuelve muy sencillo cuando hay moderación. Ese es el camino dorado del medio, ¿ok? Cuando hay moderación en la comida, por ejemplo, no se come mucho, pero tampoco se come demasiado poco, que no se pueda hacer yoga. Moderación en el trabajo y en el juego. No trabajar demasiado, ni no trabajar nada y puro divertirse. Entonces es un equilibrio entre los dos, moderación. Moderación entre ser introvertido y extrovertido. Si eres demasiado extrovertido y te la pasas hacia afuera, gastas muchísima energía. Pero si eres muy introvertido y te la pasas hacia adentro, entonces no compartes con el mundo. Y es importante la moderación entre ambos. Entre compartir con los demás o estar solo, ¿no? Moderación en las interacciones, en la actividad que tengamos, moderación física y mental, moderación incluso de dormir o estar despierto, no estar despierto demasiado tiempo y dormir demasiado tiempo. Entonces, se dice en el Bhagavad Gita que la persona que consigue moderación en su vida en general, para ella el yoga es muy fácil.
Yeah. So now, so this balancing is, at the physical level. So you have to start at the physical level, then the pranic level, then the mental level, and of course spiritual level. So this is all, the whole Hatha Yoga or any other yoga is that only, So Hatha Yoga is more like balancing from the physical level. So prana, the physical level and prana. Then Bhagavad Gita, you can see that all balancing the activities and interactions and all. So Bhagavad Gita. Of course, Bhagavad Gita also talks about the spiritual level, the highest level also. So at the very basic, of course, they are not linear. It's right. They need not be linear. All the spiritual practices need not be linear. So first you have to start at the physical level, then only you have to go to prana. It's not like that. It can be all yugapat simultaneously. It can be. Or you can also start from the basic level, because this journey is always from gross to subtle, from gross to subtle, the journey is always. Or you can also start at the prana level, or the psychological level, then you come down again, this all, so prudence. So use your prudence, so you start wherever you can. So the physical practices are like, so padadi rasanam, so balancing the Idan Pingala with these practices. It's called padadi rasanam. Even before practicing Nadi Sodhana Pranayama, so we are advised to do this Pradadi Rasanam so that you can physically you can balance these two. So start there. Then comes the Nadi Sodhana. So Nadi Sodhana Pranayama. So you see that at the pranic level we are balancing. Then of course the Neti also a very good practice to balance this. So Neti practice cleansing the yogic nostril cleansing. Then we use Anuloma Viloma Pranayama also. Anuloma Viloma. So it's similar to Nadi Sodhana, but in Anuloma Viloma, we just work with one nostril, inhale and exhale, whichever is blocked, So these are the practices we do. So sometimes we do, it's called, we use Yoga-Vedanta. So Yoga-Vedanta is an instrument, you can use to balance this, whichever side is.
Yes.
So this is, so another practice is, what is called Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is a wonderful practice to balance this because the systematic progressive relaxation of the body scan. So systematically you are doing the body scan. So this is the balancing this, So this is a nice program, nice practice. See these are the physical practices. You can start the physical and the pranic level, physical and pranic level, you do practices. So same thing in the mental level, the emotional level, Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga gives you the balance, understanding the emotions. So not carried away by the emotions, either negative or positive, So this is in fact the Bhagavad Gita talks about again and again. So have a balanced mind with reference to, so Jaya, so victory and defeat. So have a balanced life, So Sukha Dukkha, in the misery and in the happiness. So when the happiness comes, you are not elated, and then the misery comes, you are not depressed. So have a maintain the balance in life. So Sita Ushna. So Sita means cold, Ushna means heat. So heat and cold always are there, So you have to balance. When summer comes, oh my God, summer. So winter comes, oh my God, winter. Oh, 6 months you every day.
Complaining.
So, complaining. So that's what it is. So it's okay. So take care and have a balanced life,
Acceptance,
But acceptance, Of course, so this is the mind, So this is that's how the mind compensates, by expressing and all. So you get some solace, that's a But still, so you have to maintain that balance, maintain the balance. So this is again and again it is spoken, So like that. If somebody praises, so I'm in the cloud 9. And somebody doesn't say something, then I am depressed. It's not like that. Okay. Mana, apamana. So mana and apamana. So of course, so these are the natural traits of the enlightened person. That's what natural traits of the enlightened person is always balanced. But that becomes the guidelines for us, for the practitioners. So these are the guidelines like that. So it's so much is spoken about it. How to maintain the balance. So golden middle path. Yeah.
Okay. Entonces, a nivel físico y pránico, por ejemplo, debemos equilibrar a nivel físico, pránico, emocional, psicológico, a todos los niveles, ¿ok? Normalmente siempre se empieza de lo grosso a lo sutil, pero no tenemos que empezar por la parte física o mental, sino por la que sea con prudencia, con conciencia, y podemos trabajar en todas simultáneamente, pero siempre vamos a volver a la física porque es la básica, ¿no? Y vamos de lo grosso a lo sutil. Entonces, prácticas para equilibrar la parte física y pránica son, por ejemplo, la práctica de Padahirasanam, que es el de colocar las manos debajo de los sobacos para equilibrar los nadis. Esa es una práctica yógica que se debe hacer antes de hacer las siguientes prácticas para equilibrar los nadis, porque esa práctica en sí misma equilibra los nadis, va abriendo, ¿no? Después se puede practicar nadi sodana, que es la respiración alterna. Esa es una de las mejores prácticas para equilibrar los nadis. También neti, la limpieza nasal de los nostrils, de las fosas nasales, para desbloquear las fosas nasales y poder hacer pranayama, ¿ok? Hay otras prácticas de pranayama como anuloma viloma, en los que trabajamos solamente una fosa nasal para desbloquear la que podamos tener bloqueada, ¿ok? Hay algunas herramientas como el Yoga-Vedanta, que es como un bastoncito que se coloca debajo del sobaco, así, un bastón, para presionar, para el mismo efecto que tiene esa práctica de Padasthirasanam, para estimular el nadi que normalmente tengamos más bloqueado, ¿ok? Son herramientas yógicas. Y también se puede hacer con yoga nidra. Yoga nidra, que es la siesta yógica que se hace echado, es una práctica en la que se hace un escaneo del cuerpo físico y en el que vamos a ir llevando el cuerpo de un sistema nervioso al otro. Probablemente llegamos a un sistema nervioso y los nerviosos y esos nadis, ¿ok? Entonces, para equilibrarnos a nivel mental y emocional se utiliza Bhakti Yoga. En el Bhagavad Gita se habla muchísimo de esto, de cómo equilibrar nuestras emociones. Es muy importante mantenerse el equilibrio, y para mantenerse en el equilibrio a nivel emocional quiere decir que cuando nos sucede algo súper bueno no nos alteramos muchísimo, y cuando nos pasa algo muy triste tampoco nos alteramos, nos mantenemos en el centro. Entonces, por ejemplo, no es como, también el Bhagavad Gita habla de frío-calor, no es como cuando hace mucho calor nos quejamos de que hace mucho calor, hace frío nos quejamos de que hace frío. Es verano, hace mucho calor, es invierno, hace mucho frío. Entonces, toda esta dualidad emocional de que nos altere el exterior, debemos llevarlo a un balance, buscar una ecuanimidad y una tranquilidad interna también a nivel mental y emocional.
Yeah. So now, after balancing this, so we have to go to now Kundalini Yoga. So Kundalini Yoga starts once we balance Iran Pingala, you know. So Kundalini Yoga. So what is Kundalini? Kundalini Yoga is a part of Hatha Yoga, you know. So Kundalini Yoga is a part of Hatha Yoga. So this, you know, the yoga of working with, so yoga of working with the potential energy, the potential spiritual energy that is hidden, seemingly hidden within the individual. So you can say it's a Kundalini Yoga, or you can say Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of uniting the Shakti, the primordial spiritual energy that is potent, that is dormant in the individual. So that is dormant in the individual. So uniting this Kundalini Shakti, the spiritual energy, with the Shiva, the cosmic energy, cosmic consciousness at the Sahasrara chakra. So various definitions you can give. So this is the Kundalini Yoga. It's called Kundalini Yoga. So Kundalini Yoga is so the yoga of uniting the Shakti with the Shiva, the Shiva. So this happens through the chakras. So this Kundalini Yoga, so the unification of Kundalini happens through the chakras and nadis. They're all connected, you know. So Kundalini Yoga is connected with the chakras, and Kundalini Yoga is connected with everything, with the prana, very much prana, because the prana is the vehicle for the Kundalini to move up, and it's connected with the nadis, you know. So the connected with the chakras, you know. So that is why, so Kundalini Yoga also includes all other aspects. So asana, pranayama, mudras and bandhas, you know, so everything. So you can say this way, Hatha Yoga is a foundation for Kundalini Yoga. That way also you can say. So when you define the Hatha Yoga as a yoga of purification, you know. So this is one of the definitions also, yoga of purification. So it's a purifying and balancing the Ida Pingala, and purifying the pranic body and the physical body and all. then it's a nice preparation for Kundalini Yoga. You know, so Kundalini Yoga is a foundation, Hatha Yoga is a culmination. You can say that way. You know.
Ok. Entonces, una vez que conseguimos equilibrar los nadis, entramos a la práctica de Kundalini Yoga, ¿ok? Es necesario equilibrar los nadis antes de entrar a hacer Kundalini Yoga. Imagínense el trabajo que hay que hacer antes de empezar a hacer Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga es parte del Hatha Yoga, ¿ok? Se puede definir como el yoga de trabajar con la energía espiritual potencial que está adormecida en cada ser humano, en la base de la columna, ¿ok? Es el yoga de trabajar con la energía potencial espiritual que está dormida en cada ser humano. Es el yoga de unir el Shakti, que es esa energía durmiente que hay en cada ser humano, con el Shiva, que es la conciencia cósmica, ¿ok? Entonces, el Kundalini Yoga se puede decir que incluye toda la parte de nadis, chakras, prana, porque a través del prana es que se activa y sube el Kundalini. Entonces, esta práctica incluye todo, bandas, los chakras, los nadis, el prana, todo, ¿ok? Entonces, se puede decir que el Hatha Yoga es la base de la práctica del Kundalini, es la preparación, es la purificación para que suceda el despertar del Kundalini.
Yeah. So the derivative meaning. So Kundala. So Kundalini Yoga. So Kundalini Shakti or Kundalini Shakti Yoga. So you can say. So Kundala means so a coil. You know, Kundala means a coil. So a coil or a fire pit. You know, the fire pit also called Kundala. So Kundala, etc. The fire pit. So you can say potential energy, evolutionary energy. So Kundala is a fire pit. Kundalini Shakti. So Kundalini Shakti. So it's a potential energy because Shakti is the divine feminine energy. That's why we call Kundalini, because it's a word, you know. So Kundala is a masculine. Kundalini becomes feminine word. So it's a philological gender. So so it's also called the fire pit. So that's why Kundalini also is energy, the fire, you know, the Agni Somatmakam Jagat. So this Agni is a fire, the Kundalini Shakti, and the Soma is the Shiva. So uniting the Agni with the Soma. So this is called in the Vedic, in the Vedic literature, you see that. So now Kundalini Shakti is the coiled energy. So coiled energy. That is why it's called serpent energy, because when the snake is when the snake is you know, coiled, like it's a potential. So you know, so this is what, like a spring. Spring is like a potential. So it has got a potential energy. So when you release the spring, so it jumps like this, you know, the energy goes like that. So that's the idea. So coiled serpent energy, you can say. So it's symbolized as a coiled snake. So symbolized, the Kundalini Shakti is symbolized as a coiled snake representing the potentiality. And this is residing at the Mooladhara Chakra. So for an individual, so this Kundalini is residing at the Mooladhara Chakra. So this is what is a Kundalini Shakti. So okay, yeah, I'll continue.
Entonces, el Kundalini viene del origen de la palabra Kundal, que es como una espiral de fuego, ¿ok? Un pico de fuego. Se llama Kundalini porque es una energía femenina, Kundalini Shakti, ¿ok? Kundalini Shakti Yoga. Kundalini Shakti es la energía femenina. Y Kundalini Shakti es la energía potencial evolutiva humana. Se representa con un fuego porque es energía. Y es la que se une, el Kundalini Shakti se une con el Soma, que es la conciencia, que es el Shiva, que está en la última parte, ¿ok? De la columna. Entonces se representa como una serpiente enroscada en la base de la columna porque es una energía durmiente potencial que va a despertar. Está enrollada, el símbolo es una serpiente enrollada en la base de Muladhara, en la base de la columna, como representando una energía potencial. Ese es el Kundalini Shakti.
Yeah. So, on this Kundalini Shakti, like a serpent, so this is the Muladhara chakra is the location of this Kundalini Shakti. And this Kundalini has got a 3.5 coil. So, 3.5 coil. Okay, that we'll see more details about why the 3.5 coil. So, it represents all the 3 gunas. So, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, and transcending the 3 gunas, etc. So, we will come to that later when we do the chakras. Now, so before going to the elaboration, so we have to see so the metaphysics. So the metaphysics of Tantra. So Kundalini Tantra. So Kundalini Yoga. So a little bit of metaphysics. So because our body, so not the body, our individual. So each and we are the holograms of the universe, you know. So microcosm is the macro. So whatever is there in the macro is there in the micro. So we are all the holograms of the universe. So so then now that is why we have to understand the metaphysics. So you know, so Tantra. So this is the Tantra metaphysics. Of course, Tantra metaphysics is not different from the Vedic metaphysics or Yoga metaphysics. They are similar, but some differences. So basically, they are similar. Some differences. So you know, basically we have so non-dualistic Tantra and dualistic Tantra. So these are the basic differences. So one is non-dualistic Tantra and dualistic Tantra, and both dualistic and non-dualistic. So there is another branch. So, but basically these two. So non-dualistic and so dualistic Tantra. So, so what is the metaphysics now? So this is what we have to understand before going to that. So you can see that I have given here a picture. I mean a summary of the whole thing. So there is some. Can you see the board?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
So,
yes. A little bit of light, no problem.
Yeah. So there is a pure consciousness. So Nirguna Brahma. So the reality which is Nirguna. So pure consciousness. So it is a unmanifest pure consciousness. What is called Nirguna Brahma? The timeless reality. One. So non-dual reality. So reality is one. Undivided, individual, pure, non-dual consciousness. So that's the absolute reality. So it's absolute. So absolute reality. So absolute. So this absolute reality, also known as Brahman or Nirguna Brahman. So you know, so divisionless. So divisionless. So non-dual Brahman. So appears as though two. Okay, this is what it is. Sat, Chit, Ananda, pure existence, pure knowledge, and pure bliss. That's the nature of absolute reality. So this reality, as though becomes two. So unmanifest reality becomes manifested. So manifestation means the creation. So this is a creation. So seemingly divided into two. So this reality, this non-dual reality. So Nirguna Brahman, Satchidananda Brahman. So seemingly divided into two aspects. This seemingly is very important because there is no real division. So it's only seemingly divided because of the Maya. So the principle of Maya we have to understand. So because of the Maya Shakti, so the Maya, with the help of Maya, the Brahman becomes two. So seemingly divides into, you know. So neither exists. So okay, so seemingly divides into these two aspects. These two aspects are what is called Shiva and Shakti. This is the language of Tantra. So this is the language of Tantra. So Shiva and Shakti. So these are the two aspects. So seemingly divided into two aspects. So neither one exists without the other. So because the Shiva and Shakti both are there in the creation. So this dipole, you know, every creation is a dipole. There are two aspects in the creation. So neither exists without the other. Shiva cannot manifest in the form of universe without the Shakti, because the Shakti is the creative power of the Shiva. You know, without the Shakti, no, there is no creation. And Shakti itself cannot create because it needs a background. It needs a changeless background. So Shakti needs a changeless background. So that is why. So neither exists without the other. So create. This is what is called a dualistic world. Seemingly dualistic world, because our experience is so duality. We see the duality, but really there is no duality. So seemingly, that is why. So seemingly, that's the time and space. The time and space duality, and the subject is subject object duality. So this individuation process. So we see the duality. Okay. So these are the two polarities, two aspects of the universe, created universe. So Saguna Brahma, you can say it's a Saguna Brahman, the Shiva and Shakti. So Purusha Prakriti. So Shiva Shakti, the Sanskrit language. Purusha Prakriti is more in Hatha Yoga and also the Sankhya language. And of course in Bhagavad Gita also same, the language is the same. There also Purusha Prakriti comes in the in the 13th chapter, in so various places it comes, Purusha Prakriti. So consciousness and energy, consciousness and energy.
Okay. Yes. Entonces vamos a hablar un poquito, antes de entrar en el Kundalini Yoga, vamos a hablar un poquito de la metafísica del Tantra, ¿ok? Vamos a hablar un poquito de la metafísica del Kundalini Yoga. Nuestro cuerpo, nosotros somos como un holograma del universo, ¿ok? Como macrocosmos, microcosmos. Entonces, en la parte de metafísica del Tantra, hay una parte del Tantra que es no dualista y otra parte que es dualista. Pero comprendiendo yendo hacia la parte metafísica del Tantra, el concepto es el siguiente. Hay una realidad absoluta que es ¿okay? Eso es una realidad absoluta que es pura conciencia y es uno, ¿ok? Es no dual, es una realidad absoluta y se llama Satchitananda, ¿ok? Ahí no hay dualidad. Entonces, con la manifestación, con la creación, se crea una dualidad que es aparente. Esto es muy importante entenderlo, no es una dualidad real, porque la dualidad no es real, es una creación mental. Entonces, aunque todo lo vemos dual, eso no es real. Entonces, la dualidad que se genera desde este Nirguna Brahma es una ilusión, es un maya, ¿ok? Esto es muy importante comprenderlo. Y de ahí se crea la dualidad que es Shiva y Shakti. ¿Ok? La conciencia y la energía, Purusha y Prakriti, en otro lenguaje yógico. Pero que ninguno de los dos puede existir sin el otro, porque en verdad no existen. Son la dualidad que se crea y la podemos ver, pero eso es una ilusión, ¿ok? Es muy importante y es la dualidad que vemos en el mundo, como el tiempo, el espacio, el sujeto y el objeto, que ve y el objeto, ¿no? El que ve y el objeto en sí mismo, toda esa separación es una ilusión creada por el Maya.
Yeah. So this is a creation. So so this so when a creation means it's a dipole. Always a dipole. So now, so this consciousness and energy matter. Energy means it's a matter also, because energy is energy becomes matter. Matter is coalesced into energy. So the energy matter is called what is called Shakti. So Shakti or Prakriti, so which is always changing. So Prakriti means the creation, the changing and moving, and the whole thing is the dynamic power. So this is what the dynamic energy, the cosmic creative force. So the cosmic creative force, the divine mother, because everything, the creation and nature and nurture, So the nature, the nature and nurture, the creation, that's all is called the divine mother, the cosmic Shakti. So this is a dynamic energy, it's a cosmic creative force. So, and the Shiva is a static. So Shiva is a pure consciousness, consciousness. Even after creation also, it's still pure consciousness only, because the consciousness will never change. So those seemingly they change, but it never change. So that is why it's absolute. So it's a static. So it's a static. Because if something is changing means there should be a changeless background, So otherwise you don't know whether it's changing or not also,
Yes.
So there is a changeless background. So it's a static. So in iconography, you might have seen in iconography, so they represent Shiva is like a lying down. Shiva is like a lying down. So in iconography, the older iconography, so iconography of the lore, even now it is there in Tantra. So like Shiva will be lying down like and the Shakti is like a dancing on Shiva. It's look like a very weird picture like, but the iconography is like the Shiva is the background. Shiva is the ground, changes background, and the Shakti is the creation, changing, moving, creating, So this is what the very dynamic Shakti, like a Kali. So Kali is the Shakti, like a dancing Kali. So this is what is the iconography representing. The whole universe is changing, violently moving. Everything is moving and changing and taking birth and dying. This is represented by the Kali, the movement of the Kali. So anyway, so the static remains identified with the unmanifest. So really there is no difference between unmanifest and manifest. So only thing is in manifest, so the Shakti is moving and changing. So it remains unmanifest. So but Prakriti is a very dynamic energy, always changing, always moving, and creation, dissolution, sustenance. So this is what.
Ok. Entonces, en la creación están los dos polos, ¿ok? Shiva y Shakti. Entonces, Shiva es una energía estática, quieta. En verdad, Shiva sigue siendo conciencia pura, la misma que había en la realidad absoluta, porque la conciencia no puede cambiar. Lo que pasa es que ahora está Shakti y existe otro tipo de movimiento en la realidad, ¿ok? Shakti es el movimiento, es la energía es lo mismo que la materia porque es diferentes grados de materia, como de densificación, pero la energía se considera como una materia. Y Shakti es esta energía, es totalmente dinámica, es la madre divina que nutre, que crea, es todo el proceso de la muerte, los nacimientos, crecimiento, expansión, todo ese movimiento es Shakti, ¿ok? Sin embargo, Shiva es estático, es conciencia quieta que no se mueve. Entonces, esta es la diferencia entre los dos. El icono, por ejemplo, la simbología como la que se representa a Shiva es echado, acostado, quieto, y a Shakti en movimiento, bailando encima de él. Esa es la iconografía de Kali, ¿no? La diosa Kali danzando encima de Shiva, que Shiva es conciencia, está quieto, y Kali, o Shakti, la Madre Divina, está en movimiento encima de él, generando todos los cambios y todos los procesos en esta realidad.
Yeah, so, and Shiva is a Nirguna, so attributeless. There is no attributes in the Shiva. So that's what pure consciousness. Any attribute means it is a Prakriti. So either time and space duality or creation and dissolution or any attribute means it's all part of the Prakriti. It's not the part of the consciousness, pure consciousness. So attributeless, Nirguna, and Prakriti is a Trigunatmika. So Prakriti is a Trigunatmika. So Trigunatmika. So 3 means 3. Of course, 3 is the Sanskrit, English also 3. So Trigunatmika, endowed with the attributes of the 3 gunas. So Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So these are the 3 gunas. So Prakriti means 3 gunas. So because of 3 gunas, there is a creation. Otherwise, only no creation. When the 3 gunas in equilibrium, Samya Avastha, there is no creation. So the Prakriti means the 3 gunas are always there. So these 3 gunas are not the attributes actually, but they are very, very intrinsic nature of Prakriti. So the 3 gunas are not attributes, they are very intrinsic nature of Prakriti. And so these 3 gunas means the Prakriti evolves further. So the Prakriti evolves further and becomes the world. This is what the evolution. So the theory of evolution. So in fact, it's not evolution. Strictly speaking, it's a devolution. So, but let us say evolution. So evolution of the universe from pure consciousness to energy, then the matter. So energy to matter. So it's what grossification. So grossification and evolution of the universe. So this Prakriti energy evolves into the material world, the material universe. So and there's a process. So this process we will do later when you do Sankhya philosophy very elaborately. Here basically basically there's a Mahat. So Mahat means the primordial state of matter and energy. And from there, Ahankara comes. So Ahankara is the universal mind. So the collective mind, the universal mind, the universal ego. You can also see universal ego. Then from there, we have what is called the Pancha Tanmatras. So the 5 elements, the 5 elements. So Pancha Bhutas. So evolution. So the space and air. Then we have fire. Then we have water, and we have the earth, the Prithvi. So Tejo Vayu Akashaha. So like that, we have this evolution. From there, so this is the first elementals, then elements. So like that. So there is a classification. It's a process. So that we will see later more about this is called Panchikaranam. So Panchikaranam is more details of the evolution. So basically the energy, different dimensions of the energy. So like we have the gravitational energy, we have radiational energy, we have electrical energy, magnetic energy, electromagnetic energy, etc. So these are various dimensions of the Prakriti. So these are the Panchabhutas, Pancha Tanmatras, then Panchabhutas. So Panchabhutas or Panchatatvas, that's what we perceive, we see, space and fire and all that we see. These are grossified elements. So this is what the evolution. So basically, 3 gunas and the 5 elements. So, so if you understand the 3 gunas and the 5 elements, then you can replicate this with the chakras. So all the chakras represent the Panchabhutas and 3 gunas, and of course the whole Prakriti is the Kundalini energy. So that is the Prakriti of the macrocosm is the Kundalini energy, the potential energy within the individual. That is the Kundalini energy, and the Shiva is Shiva provides a changeless background to the creation. So Shiva lends the existence to the Prakriti because the Prakriti itself is inert, but because the Shiva, so Prakriti gets its existence. So so the Prakriti is active because of the Shiva, because the Shiva gives the existence, lends existence. So that is why. And this Prakriti takes care of the creation. The whole creation is the play of Prakriti. So the same thing what is there in the macrocosm, we see in the microcosm also. That is what the Kundalini Yoga. So yeah.
Very nice. Entonces, Shiva y Shakti, vamos a hablar de los atributos, ¿ok? Shiva sigue siendo conciencia pura, conciencia cósmica, entonces sigue siendo nirguna, no tiene atributos, ¿ok? Pasando a Shakti, Shakti sí tiene atributos porque es la materia, es la energía, ¿ok? Es lo que conocemos como Prakriti, es la creación. Entonces, Shakti es el triguna, tiene las 3 gunas, sattva, rajas y tamas, ¿ok? Así, con estas trigunas se crea el mundo material que conocemos. Es la evolución o la evolución de la energía hacia la materia, la densificación de la energía en el mundo material que conocemos. De esta manera se crean diferentes partes, diferentes estados, ¿no? Primero, esto lo vamos a ver más cuando hablemos de la filosofía Sankhya, pero comienza con Mahat, que es la energía primordial, la que crea todo. Luego pasa a Ahankara, que es la mente universal, pero como el ego universal, ¿ok? Ahankara. Y luego pasan a los Pancha Tanmatras o Pancha Buddhas, ¿ok? Los 5 elementos. Entonces, esta son las 3 gunas y los 5 elementos. Y esto es como si el Kundalini del macrocosmos. Esa es la maravilla de eso. Ahí vemos el macrocosmos y el microcosmos, ¿ok? Nosotros tenemos los chakras y tenemos los 3 nadis principales. El universo tiene las 3 gunas y los 5 elementos, como los 5 chakras primeros. ¿Ok? Entonces ahí está, esa es la energía, ese es el Kundalini Yoga del universo, que es el Prakriti. ¿ok? Como un macrocosmos, y nosotros tenemos esa representación en nuestro cuerpo con los chakras y los nadis también.
Yeah. So with this background, so we'll continue with the Kundalini Yoga. So the chakras. I think we'll do in the next class. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Good.
Entonces, en la siguiente clase vamos a hablar más sobre los chakras, más sobre Kundalini Yoga, vamos a meternos más profundo en Kundalini Yoga y en los chakras. Entonces, les invito a que estén atentos, a que sigan la serie, porque está súper interesante. Vamos a tener todo el conocimiento para que tenga una armonía en sí mismo y podamos conocernos más a través del cosmos, conocernos a nosotros mismos y viceversa. Entonces, muchísimas gracias. Nos vemos la próxima semana con otro capítulo para seguir estudiando Kundalini Yoga y los chakras. Thank you so much, Keshavaji, for being here. Thank you. From India. And we'll meet the next week. Hari Om. Thank you very much.
Om Shanti.
Nos vemos. Om Shanti. Nos vemos.